In order to understand Maimonides' rationalization of the commandments, we'll need some basic building blocks. So first, Maimonides begins this section of the guide at part 3, chapter 25, with a discussion of God's acts, which for Maimonides actually are expressed through the laws of nature. God's actions for him just are the laws of nature. And he distinguishes between different types of action, before telling us that God's actions must clearly be good and excellent acts, which he defines as those actions which have noble ends or goals. And clearly, all God's actions must be good and excellent, given his perfection. Now, this idea of an end or a goal is going to be central for Maimonides' approach to the mitzvot. But moving on to point 2. Maimonides believes as a good Aristotelian that to really understand something, one has to know its cause. As Aristotle puts it, knowledge is the object of our inquiry, and men do not think they know a thing till they have grasped the why of it, which is to grasp its primary cause. But Maimonides focuses on a specific cause in his account of the mitzvot, one that we have mentioned before, which is the final cause, which is also the goal or the aim of something. So to use Aristotle's example, if I go for a walk and I'm doing so in order to be healthy, then health is the aim or the purpose of my walk, and we would call it the final cause of my action. It's the thing that causes me to go for a walk, my desire to get healthy. Now in Greek, this goal or purpose is called a telos, and therefore this is known as a teleological explanation of my action. We explained it by invoking its purpose or its goal. Now point 3. For Aristotle, all things are made up of two components, matter and form. The matter is the bare stuff, and the form is, for want of a better term, the form it takes. Aristotle's example is of a bronze statue. So the matter, the stuff, is the bronze. The form it takes in this case is the shape of the statue. Now everything is made up of matter and form, but they're not two actual things that you can separate. You could never encounter matter that was unformed, or indeed form that was not somehow embodied. So the bronze will always have a form, even if it's just the form of an unformed pile. But think, you surely cannot encounter the shape of something if there's nothing for it to shape. So form and matter are two aspects that make up everything, but you couldn't actually pull them apart. Now in nature, this distinction becomes more significant. Take, for example, an apple tree seed that you plant. Now that apple tree seed has the potential to become an apple tree. It needs certain things to happen to actualize that potential, but it has the potential within it. For Aristotle, that potential is really in it as its form, or as its ultimate goal or final cause. So for Aristotle and for Maimonides, natural things have these final causes, these forms, which are also identified as their essences. Things without which they would not be that thing. Maimonides speaks of this natural form as the notion in virtue of which a thing is constituted as a substance and becomes what it is. You might recall we gave an example of triangles earlier in the course. There, in this case, form would be their three-sided bound figures. If they don't have that, they're not a triangle. Now, let's put all of this together. Natural things have final causes, and for natural things, those final causes are their forms, and those need to be actualized. That's how nature works. But the point of this whole scientific introduction is that this is also how, for Maimonides, mitzvot work. Basically, human beings have a form, an ultimate aim or goal that only exists in us in potential. The mitzvot are the way we actualize the form. So for Maimonides, there is a cause for all the commandments. I mean to say that any particular commandment or prohibition has a useful end. So what this means is we have a teleological explanation of the mitzvot. They are a means to a human's ultimate end. There's human form in potential. We perform mitzvot, and that human form is actualized. And for Maimonides, this is an entirely scientific affair. He's basically giving us a natural science of the mitzvot as those things that actualize a person's form or potential, realizing their ultimate purpose. The laws, therefore, are another example of God's good and excellent actions, since they perfect man. Now, this does leave us with an important question, and that is, what is the ultimate purpose for humanity to which the mitzvot lead? Now, you're going to work through chapter 27 to see how things hang together, but I'll tell you the final answer in advance, because for Maimonides, intellectual perfection is the ultimate aim to which mitzvot lead. It's all about what we know. And remember how this corresponds to the idea of Halevi's philosopher from earlier in the course, for whom what mattered was not what we do, but that we perfect our knowledge. Yet again, it seems as if Maimonides basically agrees with the philosopher. The key difference, however, is that for Maimonides, it's the mitzvot that lead us to this intellectual perfection. Quite how they do so is what we need to discover.